I, 23 male, am feeling smothered by my girlfriend, 23 female, and her separation anxiety issues. To give some background, we've been dating for almost 2 years, and knew each other for about a year before dating. We currently live together, and both have full-time jobs that are WFH. We moved in together in a new city. I had a job there and she got an offer shortly before moving, after about 8 months, 3 of which were long distance, of dating. We are both each other's first significant relationship, and definitely the longest relationship either of us have had. So to some degree, we're still figuring out a lot of those dynamics. She also suffers from anxiety and depression, and though she has recently started therapy, encouraged by me, she is not on any medication for them. I have kept a network of friends from college that I interact with online regularly, although due to this issue, described below, I haven't been able to keep those connections as strong as I'd have wanted. Conversely, she has only a few college friends she kept up with, and only has a couple of other friends that sporadically communicate with her. And with us having moved to a new city during lockdown, we haven't had much chance to make new friends. My issue is this: I feel smothered by the fact that she only ever wants to do things together, and doesn't seem to have much of a life, interests that don't revolve around me. To put it bluntly, it's almost like she's obsessed with me. Her explanation is that I am her happy place, and that she always feels more relaxed and calmer when she's with me, and so she wants to be with me whenever she has free time. I don't feel the same way. I love her, and I enjoy spending time with her, but I also enjoy my alone time and spending time with friends. She will get very jealous when I play video games with my friends instead of doing things with her, sometimes to the point of having a meltdown and thinking that I don't love her anymore and that I enjoy spending time with my friends more than I do with her. Sometimes that's true. A longtime friend and I always have an awesome time when we play games together. But for all her complaints, I spend maybe 1 day a week playing games with other people or doing something that doesn't involve spending time with her. Other than that, we are together 100% of the time, cooking, watching TV, movies, gaming, relaxing together, going to the gym, etc. So I have a hard time understanding her complaints when she gets upset I spent 3-4 hours on a Saturday playing a game with my friends. Another major issue I'm worried about is that her separation anxiety stuff makes it nearly impossible for us to travel or be apart from the other for more than a day. I've had to travel back home for a family emergency on short notice, and due to work she couldn't travel with me. I'll be gone for about a week and a half in total, and she spent almost every day before I left crying about how she wouldn't be able to handle me being gone. Now, when I call her in the evenings for 30-60 minutes, she will talk about how sad her day was and how much it sucked and how she is counting down the hours until I return. Meanwhile, I'm very much chill about it. I miss her of course, but I'm not about to pitch a fit and shut down over it. To me, 2 weeks apart is a very short period of time. If it were a month or more, I'd have been much more torn up about leaving, I imagine. I can't help but feel this reaction to me being gone is normal or healthy, and it really makes me worry about the future as I am in a job where travel will eventually be necessary and a weekly occurrence. If she shuts down every time I'm not within 50 feet of her, how can I expect her to handle the responsibilities of being a parent, maintaining her health? In some respects, I think having been in a relationship almost exclusively during COVID impacted the way our relationship works. I always had a friend network or social outlet which she did not, and now that it's been about a year of living together I worry she has become 100% dependent on me and I won't be able to live my life the way I'd like to. Looking for any advice or stories about similar situations, as I feel very lost. How do I confront her about this while at the same time not making her think that I don't love her anymore? Thank you. Too long did not read. My girlfriend who I live with has separation anxiety issues that are preventing me from living my life how I'd like to. She seems to mentally shut down when we're not physically together, and gets jealous when I spend free time with other friends. Unsure how to proceed from here. I have a roommate going through this exact same thing right now. I also went through the exact same thing in a previous relationship. It won't get better unless she does. My ex never did. I have a feeling my friend's girlfriend won't either. The lapse in attention and caregiving drives contempt on both sides. Made my relationship hell and was toxic for both of us. People have a lot to learn. 1825. You'll either have to deal with it or not. But that's just my opinion. No guarantees on either side. I would and did walk away. We are both much happier now. Joint therapy session for you to discuss this. Mate, it's time to pull the plug. Any human being who is in love with you should understand what having space between each other is. You can both like the same things and still want to do it separately. Yes, she's got anxiety and depression, but that doesn't mean she can walk around you attached like a third limb. You need to speak to her about how you're feeling. You are allowed to play games by yourself without her getting upset. This is slowly going to turn into a toxic relationship. Don't drag it out. Good luck. Having a partner like that would drive me bonkers. I couldn't do it. I too would feel smothered and claustrophobic. Talk to her. If she doesn't see a problem and isn't willing to change a bit, then end it. You are not compatible. These are basic issues that we all have different attitudes to. I don't think it's anxiety as such. It's an attitude towards a relationship. Some couples never do anything apart. Others take separate holidays and love that. You have to find someone that has similar relationship ideals as you. For what it's worth, I would be totally with you. Wouldn't bother me in the slightest. You see friends, socialize a bit with them without me and going away for family or friends stuff here and there. No issue whatsoever. I'm not gonna tell you to break up, but maybe recognize that this isn't fair to you. She has issues, but you can't be her emotional support animal. Sounds like you can stand on your own and don't need a relationship to be complete as a person. You deserve a partner who feels similarly, and who can stand on their own if needed. Try going with her to a club. It could be nearby, moving to a different city, leaving your old life in the past, maybe even convince her to move back. But I'd try having fun as a friend with her and maybe helping her meet someone else. Stop judging her situation and her friends by yours. Everybody is different. She's been clear about her communication needs, and if you don't want to or can't meet them, that's absolutely fine, but leave it. Doesn't sound it will do either of you good by poking this. You might try reading Men Are From Mars and Women From Venus, just to get another perspective on how we are wired differently, but ways to understand and cope with our being from different planets. Just a thought. Your relationship was meant to be, but maybe not meant to last. The only way to possibly save this is having clear boundaries. Tell her you need alone time and time with your friends. Ask her if that's something she can give you. Tell her that otherwise you can't stay in the relationship. If she agrees, enforce. Go out with your friends. Tell her you'll be gone till 11 p.m. Don't come home earlier because she's having a meltdown. It will be like raising a toddler. On the other hand, you already feel smothered. Maybe it's over for you. Don't feel you have to stay for her sake. It will probably be healthier for her to be single for a while. Then she'll learn adult coping skills and feel less stressed. She won't feel she has to control you to feel safe anymore. She'll be able to soothe herself. I have read both sides of this story today. On Reddit. I think it's time you two talk to each other now. It is vital you both have time to yourself. A healthy relationship allows partners time to do their own things. My wife and I always make sure that we can spend time with friends away from each other. For me, that my D&D nights and board game weekends in the countryside with friends. She had meals with her siblings and evening concerts, etc. It is not healthy for you to be forced to give up your friends and passions to comfort her. I have been the clingy one. Took me a long time to get where I am now. Lol. Give the therapy a chance to take effect. May take a few months, and encourage your girlfriend in things she might like to do alone, while still in the same room as you while you play video games, like crafting. Take her to a big craft store and buy her several things to try out. There's lots of different kinds of crafts with starter kits. I like cross-stitch a lot as it calms me down and helps a lot with my anxiety. She can craft in the same room and she can craft alone, so you can go out. I'm not a mental health professional, so take what I say with a grain of salt. But perhaps it would be of interest for you to look up the symptoms of borderline personality disorder. I'm not saying I think she has it, but it might be worth looking into. I recently, less than a week ago, broke up with my fiancée for this exact same situation, being on the receiving end of her anxiety. Ultimately, it isn't healthy for you or for her to continue this. She needs to find healthier ways of coping with her anxiety and healthier ways to express how she's feeling. Meanwhile, it's healthier for you if you aren't under the pressure of being her sole source of happiness. That is what I would encourage. An honest discussion and ask what tools she has available that can help her with this. They won't change unless they want to, and on abusive level you are more social than her. Her afflictions are her responsibility. But definitely time to organize things for yourself and have a healthy boundary that you will text when you are finished and heading home. Whether that's a sport, study outing with a group of friends. I think you also need to explain that it's unhealthy not to have her own hobbies and interests and be reliant on you. Her happiness puts unnecessary pressure on you. In order to see the relationship have solid future, things need to improve. That means seeking out her own hobbies, interests and friendships, and you are happy to agree to some boundaries that are fair and provide her reassurance. As someone who has anxiety and depression with a boyfriend who is in my comfort zone, I understand exactly how she feels. However, you two should sit down and have a discussion about this. It might be helpful to involve her therapist, as she might be able to help you come up with ways for your girlfriend to feel good without you having to attend to her sole way of feeling good. Have a therapy on these issues too. Google anxious attachment style. She has it and it's really bad. Not healthy. She needs therapy. As someone with anxiety, panic disorder that has been on meds for 3 years now, your girlfriend needs professional help and to get on meds. Sorry, but get out now while you are still young. It's clear you are not living the life you want to be. Emotional blackmail is not love. We only get one go at this life. Why be miserably trapped? It sounds like she may benefit from reading about BPD, special person experiences. The way she describes you as her happy place, and your descriptions of how she struggles to function away from you and has unreasonable rejection sensitivity with you is very reminiscent of the descriptions I've heard from folks with this issue. It doesn't mean that she necessarily has BPD or a related disorder, just that the coping mechanisms and language developed by that community might be of use to her. Best of luck to you both. Mental illness is hard for the person suffering and everyone who loves them. Codependency. Your girlfriend needs professional help. Hey friend, sorry to hear you are going through this. I went through something almost exactly the same with my ex. Moved in together too quickly during the pandemic. She would say I was her happy place, same exact words, and yeah, she had separation issues since both of her parents abandoned her. And also the same, she would get upset that I would spend time away from her to play games in another room of the house with some other friends once a week. Ultimately we had to split, man, and it is like a breath of fresh air. If you really love this chick, then have that convo again and stick it out. But if she is starting to feel like a burden, don't ignore your feelings. Anxious attachment style. This is honestly not a relationship issue. This is her having anxiety and depression that she needs to get a grip on. I can say it as I have it too. She should be on meds and maybe some anti-angsties until she can get some more therapy in. She's just manifesting this all onto you. What you are asking for is perfectly reasonable. You're both young and at a very transitional point in your lives. Not an easy time anyway, then add her depression and anxiety and it just magnifies everything. She should see a psychiatrist who can test her, give her an accurate diagnosis and work with her on the right medication. Hang in there. Start with, "Babe, I love you, but I would like to talk to you about my needs and problems in our relationship. This doesn't mean I don't love you, but I am really stressed and smothered." Then continue on with all your feelings and problems. She may cry, but if she is listening to you, then your relationship has hope. If she gets angry and attacks you, unless she apologizes afterwards, couple of days to let it sink in or after therapy, you also have hope. If she attacks you without coming to realization that your feelings are just as valid as her anxiety, man, you might have to cut your losses. Compatibility is an interesting thing, with many dimensions. Looks like the tolerance for separation factor differs between you two. That could be a deal breaker. I suggest having a conversation with her and explain your needs and expectations. Discuss to see if you two together can find a middle ground that can work for both of you. And, if not, ending it sooner rather than later would be a good choice. Best relationships succeed when you give each other space. Independence and your ability to take care of yourself is very important. I personally enjoy being alone, which some people can't do, but just tell her she needs to learn to be independent and support herself without your help. Had an ex-girlfriend with attachment issues. The lesson I've learned is that you have to love a person a lot to deal with their mental issues. Otherwise you'll just make yourself miserable. I replied to this somewhere in the thread, but I lost it. Your girlfriend might benefit from exposure therapy to anxiety and also viewing anxiety like an addiction. Boyfriend and I have this issue and it's really helped reframe my stuff to where I can tackle it instead of letting it control me. We really have grown so much because of it and I always have a lot to say. Also, you should check out and read about attachment styles in relationships. That theory changed my life. Read into anxious attachment. At 23-year-old, you both are so young. Do you need to live together? I mean, you can be in a relationship, but there is so much to discover in life and discover oneself basically. I read in one comment that it's not a relationship issue, it's anxiety issue. I agree with it, and she needs help. If you love her, understand that she loves you, but she needs help, and you can tell her that you also need space. I hope things get better for her. Go do some couples therapy, it really does make a difference. As much as Reddit can advise you on certain things and areas, couples therapy really helps a lot. First of all, thank you sharing your situation, and I'm sorry you're going through a family emergency. In my last relationship, I was your girlfriend. My boyfriend had many friends from college, and when he'd spend time with them it made me uncomfortable. I realized through therapy that it stemmed from my lack of secure connections throughout my life. I felt as though him hanging out with some girlfriends meant he was curious and wanted other people. We managed to talk it through with many tear-ridden conversations. He suggested I meet some of his friends, and that helped a lot as well. I hope you guys talk it through and get to the root of the issue. Best of luck, Heart. Have you heard of people who refuse to go anywhere without their emotional support animal? It's like you've become her pet that she has to have with her at all times. And not only is it not healthy for you, it's not healthy for her as well. She's using you as a crutch. Your concerns about the future are valid. I think you should insist that she join at least one hobby, club, group in the community, not online, that she does without you. She needs to learn to have interests outside of you, and if she refuses or says she can't, then you should consider moving on from the relationship. It really sounds like she needs to be on medication. You have to remember that we are living in unprecedented times, and this quarantine has made almost every couple in the world feel the way you do. If you really love her, you'll just try to help her or be patient.